Hello, it's Shalky here. You might wonder who I am by the fact that my channel is small. Well, in this video, I am going to talk to you about who I am. First, why I am here. In case you didn't know, I am a fan of Unikitty. But more precisely, I am a fan of her show, Unikitty. And fortunately, the show was cancelled in 2019. Plus, in my point of view, that show seems to be underrated. And since I don't want that show to be dead, I had to find something I can do that might make Unikitty famous. However, I did find something that might make Unikitty famous, and it is making Unikitty videos on YouTube. So if I am here, it is because I want to make Unikitty famous through posting entertaining Unikitty videos. But I am not going to post only Unikitty videos. I will sometimes post content such as fictive stories around Shalky and the world he lives in. And this leads us to the second part. Second, who is Shalky in the fiction? In the fiction, Shalky is a wooden brick. Obviously, he lives in the country of Nartanland in the city of Oklahoma with his brother Mortimer. And if you wonder, this is how Mortimer looks like. Now aside that, here is Shalky's biography. If you're ever in a crowded place, the chances of finding him are low. Despite having some friends, Shalky likes to be at home drawing landscapes that only exist in his mind, but he sometimes plays with his brother. No, Shalky doesn't like futuristic things, so do not be surprised if you see a cathode television in his house. As I mentioned in his bio, Shalky has friends other than Mortimer, and you might wonder who they are. Well, here they are. Meet Diego and Alice. Now, you might wonder, how does the fiction where all of the characters that I mentioned in this part, including Shalky, looks like? And if you do wonder, then here comes the third part. Third, how does the fictions I started to make look like? First, there is the fiction about Shalky and his friends. It is called The Valley of the Oaks, as most of the characters in it are made out of oak wood. And yes, its acronym is DVOTO. Now, its story is mostly about Shalky and his friends living their lives with uncommon activities and events. Though, I might add some antagonists to TVOTO like a lighter, but I don't think they are going to be much present. On the other hand, there's a fiction based of a fiction that already exists. If you think that the fiction I am talking about is based around Unikitty, then you are right. Note, since that fiction I made is based around one that is not mine, it is rather a fan fiction. Anyway, I didn't give it a name yet, but if you have any idea, you can tell me in the comments. Now, in that fan fiction, Unikitty and the rest of her group have different designs than in the original. And this is how they look like. Here is the design for Unikitty. And here is Puppycorns, Dr. Fox, Akadao. And finally, here is Richards. Plus, I added 4 characters in that fan fiction, which are Paco, Opalite, Anthony, and Solen. Aside that fan fiction is about Unikitty and her friends living their lives with uncommon activities and events, just like in the Valley of the Oaks. However, unlike in TVOTO, that fan fiction has also stories with antagonists. Talking about the antagonist, I already made one, which is the main one. And here it is. Meet Master and Dagon. And no, I am not talking about the Ender Dragon. Aside that, since I almost said everything I had to say about me, then here comes the end of the video. Now, there are things that I did not mention, such as the biographies of some characters that I made. But things like these might be mentioned in another video. Anyways, thanks for watching, and see you next time. Why are you still here?